Hey you. So, welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. Also, here in the script it says, I'm also supposed to say that I'm very stinky and that I need a bath. I'm pretty sure Mary touched my script, and I'm not saying that. I guess I did now, but I'm not saying that unironically. Anyway, let's get to the first story for today before I go chase Mary down for ruining my script. Should I be upset? I've been playing campaign with the same group for over a year now. Our DM allows us to have access to legendary and artifact items if we put the effort into it. This usually involves out-of-game RP, spending resources, and completing dedicated sessions. Over 3 months ago, the party came upon a broken blade of the Archangel. My character took the time to research, made the contacts, and even dragged my party along for a session dedicated to restoring the item. Eventually, the saga came to an end. My character completed all trades, and the blade was repaired. Afterwards, the DM asked the group for their individual persuasion modifier. I have a high modifier for being a paladin. Oddly, the DM granted a plus 12 circumstance bonus to one of the player's old characters. What followed was a short story of how this old character, a Baal-worshipping sorcerer, receives the blade and is changed. I just read through the text and I have mixed feelings. To be fair, my character already has a lot of powerful items including a Holy Avenger, but I was planning of using it for my final attunement slot. Should I bring up my concern to the DM? Or am I just being greedy? Yeah, you should definitely bring up your concern to the DM, because if your character is the one that was seeking out how to restore the blade and how to put it back together, making all the contacts and everything, it's kind of weird for the DM just to go like, okay, roll persuasion. What do you roll persuasion on? The blade? Are you trying to convince the blade to choose its master? Is it a living blade? I mean, in one hand, I guess it could work if that's the case, but on the other hand, if you don't know the legwork, why is the other player receiving the blade? You were the one that wanted it, you stated to the DM, and that was your whole thing. It was your whole big adventure. You pulled everybody for and did all kinds of prerequisites in order to get it done. Why is the other player getting it? I mean, if the problem was too many magical items, you could just be like, okay, well, can I just like give the Holy Avenger to somebody else? Or maybe the sorcerer player could actually get their own adventure with their own magical item and stuff. You're the one that did all the legwork. Yeah, you should probably talk to the DM. Imagine if I, Morrow, for whatever stupid reason, decided I wanted to find the covetous golden gag ball from a succubus in Nubael. I don't know, listen, just go with it, okay? It sounds stupid, we'll just go with it. And I really coveted after it, and I spent months, even years, finding all the pieces of this golden gag ball, and I finally put it together, and it said some Joe from accounting gets it. Yeah, I'd be pretty upset. I went through all the legwork putting together this stupid gag ball, and Joe from accounting gets it. What did Joe do? He was just there for one little adventure, and that's it. He just gets it for no reason. Anyway, talk to the DM about this and let him know that you put in a lot of the work into the blade. Shouldn't you be the one to get it? Can you have your own personalized blade of your own? Because it doesn't really make sense to invest so much time just to get it. Give it to Joe from accounting. Thanks, Joe. Experienced DM doesn't like my min-maxing, which he helped me do. Hello all. I recently joined the game run by one of those 40-year-old DMs who said they played 10 years. But let's start from the beginning. I was looking to the D&D Discord for a new game and saw a very long post. I began to read over the whole thing, and it seemed like a great game. All the things I was looking for in the game. There were over 30 messages in a reply asking to join, so I threw my hat into the ring and asked. A few minutes later, I was sent a message asking for some basic information, which I filled out, told him I'm 18, favorite class, etc. Had a chat with the DM, who said he was currently running 5 different games professionally. And the one I'm trying to join, he'd been running for quite a while, but they needed extra player. A while later, I received a link to an interview server, which was about 10 people on voice chat. I joined, and I'm briefed that DM is just going to interview everyone at once. I spent over an hour in the interview room waiting for my turn, while I started to make some sort of a character concept. During the interview, he talked about how he was a big min-maxed and made really powerful characters, and how our characters in the game would also be super powerful. We were supposed to be playing demigods. I'm asked how I am with min-maxing, metagaming, how I like homebrew, don't have a lot of roleplay experience but want to learn, and a few other things. Said that I had spent a year of my time playing D&D, playing only level 20 wizard boss fights, but nowadays I just like to min-max as much as I can without getting ridiculous with rulings. I don't like metagaming very much, and I love homebrew. After we're all done, we're told by the DM that he'll pick someone by tomorrow. A day passes and ta-da! It was me with a 9 out of 10 matching. I got sent a server link, a join, to which I am met by an absolute mountain channels of lore and homebrew. I get caught up on pretty much all the lore. It was a lot of reading. 2 days before the game, me and the DM get on a call and complete my character together. During character creation process, we're level 8 and I picked up Vengeance Paladin. The DM helped me out with picking feats and recommendations and such, most of which I took, and this is important for later. After that, I was given 2 very strong magic items by the DM. A one-handed spear that also had a reach, which did 1d10 piercing damage and 1d10 radiant damage per hit, and a shield that increased my AC. The DM said they were recycled from another character, but he could change them if I wanted to. I asked the DM, is there some sort of a catch or something? This feels a little strong. The DM told me that we're supposed to be playing demigods, so we should be very strong. We finished my character and his backstory. So wait a day, get a message from DM and he'll be changing my magic item a bit. The spear would now do 1d6 piercing and 1d6 radiant, and remove the magic item quality, so it no longer had the +1. I tell him that seems reasonable, since it is. When you give players magical items and make them like overpowered demigods and such, that sounds like a balancing issue that you're gonna be having, at least not right now, but inevitably you're gonna have a moment where the players are gonna be overpowered and they're gonna have no challenge in the fight, or the fight's gonna be way too challenging for these demigods that they're not gonna be able to fight things out. It's a very fine line when it comes to balancing combat with your players and their builds and the magic items. Personally myself, I try to undershoot it, not overshoot it, because I've been in moments where a DM overshoots it and it does not go well. It does not go good. I've never done it myself, but I've been a player in those moments, and oh my god, a lot of death. Come to game day, the DM says a player could make it, so he'll be running a one-shot instead with our characters. We'll get in call and we'll make our introductions. Try doing some icebreakers. Keyword trying, because the DM's wife, who's apparently a player, kept interrupting us when we were talking about either boob jokes, just starting random stories, or just insulting people in call. Apparently that was her character thing of just being an a-hole to everyone. I really hope it's not another Mary Sue story. We already had one with a wife that's a Mary Sue. This is another story. Oh boy, that's gonna go fantastic. It takes us 45 minutes to finish our introductions because of interruption from the wife. We get into the game. Start in an underground box with only a little bit of light above us and none of our gear. During this segment, no one's really doing any RP except me. Eventually, I coordinate me and another Dragonborn to try our breath weapons at a metal door at the same time. Before we do, we're all lifted up and straight into the gladiator ring, to which 8 or so chests were spread out around the edges of the ring. The DM has us all move 5 feet, at the time in a turn order until we get there. Along the way, we're all met with several traps, which we have to make saves against. I don't remember exactly how long the segment took, but it took ages. It didn't help that there wasn't really any other talking during the time either, so pretty much everyone but me was muted. Once we all go to our chests, half of us were greeted with mimics, while the other half got the loot. We finally got into proper initiative and eventually we killed all the mimics, getting all of our items back. We got a short rest and we then attacked by a new wave of enemies. There were 2 orc chiefs, 2 minotaurs, 2 big cats, and like 10 goblins. I saw that he was rolling separate initiatives and said, oh man, they all have separate initiatives too, while laughing. The DM asked why I would be so confused, and I said something like, well, I've seen some other DMs just use swarm rules for big groups of enemies. 10 goblins is sort of a hard to roll initiative for. I can relate a lot. I've pulled a moment where I had like 12 goblins, 1 hobgoblin, and I think a goblin mage or something, and I made the mistake of rolling initiative for every single goblin. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just, if you have a bunch of goblins, have one of them roll initiative and just take all the turns on the one goblin's turn. Please save yourself some time and energy. If it's like 2 or 3 goblins, you could probably roll initiative for like all of them separately, but it's 4 or more. Just play him out as a swarm. Play him out with all goblins taking turn together on one single turn. Please, save yourself and your players some sanity. The DM clarified that he was for those, but not the smaller group ones. The fight started and I rolled a 3 on my initiative, so I was going last. The DM said, hey, don't worry. Good news is that they'll have to come to you. I agreed and the fight started. The orcs used all the movement on their turn, which was enough to get to my teammate, and I said, "Ah, I see what you mean by they have to come to us." The DM said he was going to use his aggressive feature, and I asked what it was because I haven't heard of it before. The aggressive feature is basically they can move more on no bonus action. I think just basically gives them like a free dash, kinda. The DM explained what it was, and I took note. Everyone's turn passed except mine and the Minotaurs, which the first Minotaur charging me, and I used Polar Master and a Ruthless Avenger to hit it and walk out of the way. The DM said it also had aggressive and got to attack me anyway. The Minotaur hit me, and then it was my turn. I cast Divine Favor and attacked the Minotaur, missing once before passing a turn. Had the other Minotaur charged me, to which we repeated the process of hitting and running. On a different player's turn, I got hit again and had to roll concentration for this spell. I rolled a nat 1 and said, well, since my save and aura are good, I pass anyway. The DM said no, that nat 1s always fail. Asked if it was a homebrew rule since I didn't see it in channels anywhere when I was reading through, which he didn't really answer. I said that in 5e, nat 1s are only auto-fails for attack rolls. The DM overruled it and said I failed anyway, to which I shrugged. Some DMs will run things differently, it's just part of learning the rules of the table, I guess. But the DM probably should have listed that somewhere, that that's a thing. The game went on around me, with his wife rolling double crits and killing both the cats and minotaurs in one turn with her ice bow. The rest of the party took the turns until it was my turn against at the bottom of the initiative. I threw my spear at the last orc, not killing it, and passing my turn. The rest of the players took the turns taking out the goblins before I got my turn again. There was one more encounter, but I had to leave soon after because the game had gone on for 5.5 hours by this point because of how slow the whole game ran, to which I was told it was only supposed to be closer to 4. Now I had to go. I had dinner, went to sleep, and woke up to this message. Before we get to the message, this is why you roll initiative for a group of enemies and how and take turns together. One rule and one tip that I can give to all the DMs or new DMs starting out is learn how to make the combat go faster for the NPCs. Players will take the turns already figuring out what they want to do, especially if you have a caster that has multiple things they can do. Do you use sleep? Do you use grease? Do you use a fireball? What do you do? But as a DM, if you perfect the art of making your combat and your enemies and NPCs move quickly and swiftly, it'll make the combat so much faster, easier to keep up with, and easier to flow. Flow of combat is very, very important, and if you're spending like, I don't know, 30 minutes rolling for initiative of every single enemy out there, you're gonna suck up so much time for everybody. So that's Morrow's DM tip to you. If you want a combat to go smooth, you gotta learn how to be quick and efficient about it. There you go. I'm a very forward and blunt person. I removed you from my campaign for the following reasons. Rule lawyer. You understood you were joining a homebrew campaign before joining. I know what the core rules are. I do not need to be reminded every time or questioned constantly for my way of DMing. I can only assume was thinking about like 2-sentence pseudo argument about the nat 1s. After that, he just overruled it and didn't press it and just went along. There were a few other times that I reminded him about some things, like me having a disadvantage when throwing a spear because I was only 20 feet away and such. Min-maxing. I understand you want a super powerful character, but you got 2 free feats and magical weapons. I don't need someone who is just going to make balancing combat a living nightmare for one person. It will be unfair for the rest of the group. We made my characters together, and he is the only one who gave me all those things. He's also nerfed the spear, so I don't know where this is coming from. I only got 2 turns in combat, to which I didn't really do anything. Echo. I understand me and the wife sometimes echo, but I don't need an announcement every second when we do so. I normally catch it pretty fast and fix it. For those reasons and more, I have decided to remove you. I am sorry it didn't work out, and I wish you the best of luck finding another campaign. They didn't really catch it quickly. I only reminded them because it hurt my ears and I couldn't understand what they were saying. I'm also going to use this post as an Am I the A-hole thread. So, am I the a-hole? I'm not Crispy's Tavern, I don't have like a drum roll, but like, you're not the a-hole, congratulations! Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. You're not the a-hole. The DM is kind of being the a-hole here because he's putting on all stuff for you over you being what, overpowered, power gaming, min-maxing because they helped you make the character and then they nerfed it and you're fine with it, and then you asked about the nat 1 thing and then you let it go. In fact, I think you actually being a fine player. You've been just fine and courteous and dealing with nonsense that really should not be the way that is. Rolling initiative for 18 separate monsters in a battlefield, probably even more. I probably missed something, but like rolling initiative for all the monsters on the field, How do you do that? You're gonna turn the combat into a slogfest, man. It's gonna be the worst. Anyway, not the a-hole. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.